How do I save money? That's a question I used to ask myself a lot. It's a question I ask some of my friends every now and then. You know, that's a question that people ask each other all the time. Hey man, how do you save money? How do you save money? How do you save money? How do I save money? And then there's some people that answer, all right, check this out. You ready? Here we go. First, I make money, and then I spend none of it. Thank you. Thank you. I hate those people. Saving money is not always the easiest thing. As a matter of fact, there was a survey that was done last year by Yahoo Finance where 5,000 adults were asked, how much money do you have in your savings account? And what's crazy is that out of those 5,000 adults, 58% of them claimed that they had less than $1,000 in that savings account. I mean, that's seriously mind-blowing. Like, just picture this. Emergencies happen abruptly. You can't time them. You can't make a schedule for them. They just happen. So out of all the average American citizens that may suffer an emergency that requires them to spend a minimum of $1,000, don't have a credit card or don't want to use it, 58% of us can't afford it. Like, that's scary. So savings is crucial, but not all of us can save hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or the ideal amount, the ideal period of time. That comes with the income that you're getting, whether it's a job or investments or anything like that. But you can always do it in baby steps, and then that money accumulates. And while I was in college, I did a lot of thinking about savings, because not only was I working full time, but I had to use a lot of that money to not only pay for regular bills, but for school related stuff, textbooks and lab stuff, just anything that came up, I had to prepare for that. And the only way I could prepare for that was to save. So, and over that course of time, I've been able to come up with strategies on how I can personally save money. And they're pretty easy to a certain extent. I mean, it's not requiring you to put thousands of dollars a month in your account unless that's something you can do. And it's definitely not requiring you to save over half your income, which a lot of financial minimalists do. And honestly, it's not the easiest thing to be a financial minimalist, especially, you know, with living expenses and so on and so forth. So in this video, I'm gonna share you my tips on how I saved money while I was in college and how I'm still using that same process to this day. Hopefully it can help you guys too. So sit back, let's get going. What's going on, guys? My name is Darren Jackson, and for those of you who are new to my channel, what's up, guys? My name is Darren Jackson. If you've seen my previous two videos, you know that I focused a lot on education, a lot of the educational related things I learned while I was in college that helped me succeed in college and helped me graduate. This video, I'm gonna talk about something else that was important to me while I was in college, and it helped me succeed in a certain way to get through college, and something that I utilize now, and that's saving money. Saving money is super crucial, which is something I stated earlier. You want to make sure you have a certain amount of money in your savings account so that you can be prepared for emergencies and other things that are super abrupt that come up. You can have the comfort of knowing that at the worst case scenario, you at least have a partial amount to cover whatever emergency expenses that you may have. And that's something that was super helpful for me while I was in college, and now being an adult post-college, that's something that's still important to me to this day. And at this point, I've been able to come up with a plan that helps me personally save money on a periodic basis and gets me more prepared for specific situations that comes up. And mind you, you want to use this, if anything, as a foundation. A lot of the tips that I have and that I follow are pretty basic, and some things that you may have not even heard of, which is great because my goal is to help provide you with information that you may not know. So let's go on and get to it. The first thing you want to make sure that you have is obviously a savings account, but more importantly, you want to make sure that you have a savings account that you can transfer money into periodically. And that's definitely easier if you have a source of income, like a job that pays you obviously on a periodic basis. Something that you can do is when you set up your direct deposit, you can either set up a percentage of funds to be transferred into your savings account on a bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly basis, or a certain amount transferred. And you can set it up with direct deposit through your HR at your employment, or you can have that set up through your actual bank account. Now, me personally, I have a set amount that goes into my savings account every single month, and I have it set to go through the day after I get paid, and that's just for security reasons. I like to make sure the funds are in there before I just throw money around. And it's super beneficial, and it's really cool because you start to forget that over time your savings account is linearly increasing over a good period of time, and that increase is based off what you can afford to put in there. And that's another important thing. You want to make sure that you're not stretching yourself too thin when you're doing these automatic transfers into your savings account. Just think about how much you get paid on an annual basis or on a check basis, and think about how much money are you willing to move over into your savings account, and just do that. That's the most important thing. And it's okay if it's not a whole lot of money. The goal is to just be able to build up that savings account, because ideally you want to make sure you have about 3 months worth of living expenses in your savings account. So that's rent if you're living in an apartment or you're renting a townhome or a regular home. If you have a mortgage, you want to make sure you have enough for your monthly mortgage bills. You want to make sure you have enough for regular bills, and you can even go as far as food and water. So just in case, God forbid, anything happens with you at your current job, you get let go for any reason or anything like that, you know for at least the next couple of months, you're pretty much covered until you can find something else to get to. That's the ideal situation, and having a periodic transfer into a savings account is step one. Another thing I utilize is something called roundups. It's another easy way to save money, and it's activated as you spend money. A lot of you may know what roundups are, but for those of you who don't know, essentially, roundups is a program that a lot of banks utilize on their debit cards and with their accounts, especially shared accounts, meaning checking and savings accounts, where when you use your debit card, the bank automatically rounds up your total to the next highest dollar amount. And what it does is it takes that remaining amount and it throws it into your savings account. So let's say, for example, you go to the gas station and you buy a bag of chips and a water, and your total is going to run about $2.50. So what the bank does is it analyzes that total purchase of $2.50 and it rounds up to the next dollar, which is $3. The difference between the $3 and $2.50 is 50 cents. So it debits you $3, but it takes that remaining 50 cents and it throws into your savings account, which is a really cool thing. You're literally saving money just by spending money. So it's a small percentage of every purchase, which is great, and it's something you're not thinking about in the long run. And with the combination of doing periodic transfers from your checking to savings off your checks, you're starting to see a little bit more of an exponential growth. So the way I utilize roundups in my personal life is with a bank account I have with an investment company called Acorns. And with Acorns, I'm able to do the same thing that I'm promoting right now. I just use my debit card and general transactions, like the previous example I had with the water and the chips, where I buy something and it rounds up to the next dollar amount. Now the difference is, instead of it putting money just towards a savings account with a specific APY or interest that it pays out in certain periods of time, it actually puts it into an account that is based off a widespread of different investment tactics. So whether it's real estate or it's biotechnology or it's staple companies, like everyday companies that we use all the time, based off how those parameters are doing in the stock market, my savings account will consistently grow. And that's definitely one reason why I got this debit card from Acorns, and also because it's made of metal. And unfortunately, I like to be bougie sometimes. Oh well. Now, this next thing that I focus on a lot is something that'll definitely help you with saving money. And not only that, but it'll also help you prepare for life and be qualified to do certain things and sign off on certain things by yourself. And that is to use a credit card. Now, the primary objective for a credit card is to be able to use it for emergency funds. And if you're able to pay it off in a timely manner, then you're building your credit, which will allow you to do certain things as sign off on a home or an apartment on your own, sign off on a car, a lot of other things that make adults adults. But the way I use credit cards is what leads me to my next step, and that's using credit cards for rewards basis. And rewards primarily meaning cash back. So for example, in my personal scenario, I have a credit card that I use that offers me 3% on gas, 2% on groceries, and 1% on anything else. And that 3% on gas, which I do most commonly, may not sound like a lot, especially considering how much gas is nowadays and what type of vehicle you may have, if it's a hybrid or anything like that. But just think about it this way. So let's just say over a certain period of time, you know you're going to spend about $1,000, let's say $1,000 every year on gas, which is probably gonna be a lot, but it depends on your personal life. Point is, you know you're gonna spend $1,000 on gas. So you have two options. Option one is a guy that wants to sell you a $1,000 gift card that you can only use for gas, and he'll charge you $1,000. Or you have someone else that's willing to give you a $1,000 gift card for $970, which is the equivalent of $30 off, equal to 3% off that purchase, if my math is correct, which I believe it is. It's 3% off. And it may not be a big difference, but I'm sure most of us are willing to take a smaller discount than no discount at all. So definitely keep that in mind when you're using your credit card and thinking about this as a stepping stone to how to save more money. And after multiple purchases, you're gonna be building up a balance of cash back that you've accumulated over X amount of months, years, whatever. And you'll be able to apply that towards your savings account, hence another way to save. And with that being said, another thing you can also add in there is balance transfer. So if you're someone that's already in the credit card game and you may have a credit card that has a pretty high balance and your credit card company is now charging you a high interest, you can also do a balance transfer. And there's a lot of companies that will offer you credit cards, especially when you have experience paying off credit cards. They'll offer you a credit card that will give you no interest anywhere between 6 months to 18 months. So if you're able to transfer that over and utilize that time to pay off that card, then you're saving anywhere between 14 to 17% of interest. So in a sense, you're saving even more money. So that's just another thing to think about. So this last thing, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about this. This is something that I would utilize from time to time over the past couple of years, but something that I'm working on now, and I actually started towards the end of last year. I call it the $1 method. So with the $1 method, it'll help you in 2 different ways, and this is how it works. So with the dollar method, it's easier to utilize that if you're going a period of time with paying things only with cash. And that's definitely gonna exclude your rent or your mortgage and maybe your bills and even your gas and groceries. This is more so on if you're gonna go get lunch or you're going out to eat or something like that, you only use cash. Now what you would do is at the end of every day or every week or so, you wanna look and see the cash that you have, remove all the dollar bills, and put them somewhere else. Just don't even think about them. That's literally how that works. And over time, you're just constantly putting money over. And if you're doing this on a monthly basis, now you may not necessarily use cash the entire year, but if that's your thing, then more power to you. But you may do this every other month or 1 month out of every quarter of the year or 2 months a year. But that's a lot of money you may be saving over. So like for me personally, over the past month and a half, I've probably had a couple $100s in cash. And just by doing this $1 method, I've saved about $50 in $1 bills. So you're talking about $50 over $200 in cash. That's 25% of my cash balance that I've saved just by putting money over. And honestly, I didn't remember how much cash I had until I actually went there and verified. So this is another version of savings that hopefully is just subconscious as far as how much you actually have, because you do have to remember to put the money in there. But it's just something easy to do. So those are the 4 steps that I've utilized over the past year or so, and it's definitely something I've built on, and because of that, I'm officially rich, right? It's crazy. Man, I'm excited. That's obviously a lot because earlier in the video I just said I wasn't rich, so I gotta remember that. Maybe I can edit that out. No. Okay, so obviously this isn't about being rich or getting rich. Getting rich and increasing your net worth is about the money you're bringing in. It's your income, the job or jobs you have, your cash flow. This is more on a budget scale. And budgeting is super important because you gotta think about the future at some point, especially when you're an adult. That's something I'm doing right now. So definitely keep this in mind. And if you feel like this is something that was helpful for you, please feel free to click that like button, leave a comment. At this point, guys, this is a brand new channel. This will be my 4th video, so I'll appreciate any comments or anything that you may think that I could work on, something I can adjust, anything about what I'm talking about, especially if you notice anything that I may be wrong about, definitely bring that up to my attention because I'm all ears at this point. I'm definitely trying to grow. And like I said, I can't do this without you guys, so I appreciate you guys checking this channel out. Tune in next Thursday for another video, but until then, take care.